And so this morning I have a guest in the studio that will be sharing ideas and talking about what he thinks digital literacy is. Now, particularly, I am intrigued by the person of this young man. At 18, he has done so much that so many people aspire to do maybe when they are 30, you know. Now, I have in the studio with me this morning Oluwanifemi Daunsi. Oluwanifemi Daunsi is actually somebody who is passionate about impacting the lives of younger ones, especially people who have potential, but maybe because of the environments they grew up in, they are not able to access those potentials. He's very passionate about digital literacy as well. Now, while growing up, he felt students in his community in Lagos, Nigeria, didn't value their education. And then he researched Nigeria's education system and learned that less than 10.5 million Nigerian children had little or no access to education. In September 2016, this young man founded Teens World Empowerment, a non-profit organization bridging the workforce opportunity gap in low-income communities by providing quality education and employable skills to young people. Oluwanifemi Daunsi is my guest this morning. Welcome to Tea or Coffee.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining me. So first things first, before we came on, you were sharing with me your story because I was intrigued. What exactly led you to this point? And the one thing that stands out for me is you started at age 9. How was that for you? I mean, at age 9, some of your age mates are probably still in primary 6 or trying to get into the secondary school. They don't even know if there's anything that is called, you know, computer programming or computer fixing or anything. How did that feel for you at that age?
Well, it was exciting. It was really exciting because, like I said earlier, I didn't like to stay in one place. So I wanted to see what was going on outside. And then, luckily, my parents gave me the opportunity. So I saw a world beyond where I was. And then it was really, really, what's the word again? It was really, really intriguing to see that there are solutions to problems out there. Because I usually feel like this thing is spoiled and then it's bad. But then I learned that, you can actually solve this thing.
Good. It's the ability to stick to problems so you find the solution.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. All right, let's delve straight into digital literacy. Now, generally, literacy is the ability to read and write.
Yeah.
But in today's digital world, being literate is not enough. You have to add to it digital skills, know what tools to use and all of that. But apart from that, you also have to know what to do and what not to do, like what's right to do, what's not right to do, and how to even protect yourself and your interests, especially considering the fact that the digital space is not 100% safe space to be. Now, for you, how does digital literacy translate?
So digital literacy is just basically everything you need to be able to learn and work and communicate in the digital world, because the world is evolving very, very fast. And you need to also adapt to this world that's evolving. So digital literacy is when you can read and write, but in a digital way.
Yeah. Okay, so, but there are some people who would tell you that for them, what they perceive digital literacy to be is just to know that, okay, there's this software there, there's that software here, computers are taking over. How true do you think that is?
I mean, computers are not taking over. People are programming computers. People who are programming computers need to have skills. And then if you possess those skills, then computers don't take over your job. In fact, you create computers, and then while computers are doing the work, you're relaxing and earning. Take a look at Facebook, for example. Take a look at Google. There are many, different brilliant organizations that have harnessed the power of digital literacy, and then they're just chilling.
Cool. I like the chilling part. Now let's look at benefits of digital literacy, how it affects. I know that primarily, if you look at the health sector, education, agriculture, look at all the various sectors of the economy, digital literacy is something that has come to bear, because if you don't know how to use digital tools, you may not be able to translate those sectors or those businesses or whatever it is that is under the sectors into the digital world. So let's look at other benefits that are occurable from for being digitally literate.
Well, like I always say, technology is a catalyst. It's like a compeller of change.
Okay.
So when you're a digital literate, you have an advantage in terms of, so I'm running my organization, for example, and because of a digital literate, I can create a website and
Okay.
add like a donate link, and then millions of people from all over the world can donate to the cause I'm doing. Different things, and then the funny thing about technology and then being digital literate is that you can integrate anything, and that's like the biggest benefit ever. You're in medicine, technology can come in. You're in education, you can literally integrate anything once you're digital literate.
Now, let's leave the corporate world and the business world for a second. Let's look at individual benefits. How does digital literacy benefit any individual? You know, like I'm just one ordinary regular Joe. My work is maybe a 9 to 5 somewhere. Why is
Yeah.
it so important for me to get a digital skill?
Well, like, I mean, take a look at LinkedIn. A lot of people do not know how to use LinkedIn in terms of optimizing profiles and searching for jobs. When you're digital literate and you can use LinkedIn well, your 9 to 5 may not pay you as well because the economy is really getting hard. You can search for jobs on LinkedIn. You can update your CV. You can also work remotely. A lot of people have not hacked working remotely, and that's why we still have a lot of unemployment rates and etc. So, this digital literacy thing is like interconnected to almost everything that we need to create a better world.
Mm. So, what kind of digital skills would you advocate that an individual should have?
Yeah, there are thousands of digital skills, but when you look at skills like UI UX design, programming, graphics designing, video editing, marketing, there are a lot of skills that you just really need to find your target audience, the problem they have, and create a solution for it. So if I'm in a place like, for example, maybe Ikeja, and there are a lot of shops there, but they don't have websites, then I need to learn coding. I need to learn to build websites, and then so that I can solve their need and get money in return or whatever.
So, are you saying that money should be the primary motivation to gather digital
Well,
skills?
not necessarily, but it's very important to be financially stable.
I agree with you. So, knowing full well that in order for you to use digital skills properly, you need to connect with the internet. Let's move to the younger generation now. Children that are like between ages of 2 and say 15, 16, who are born in this era, who all they know is, the digital world, who didn't have the analog world experience, and then now they were born into that space, and so that's all that they know how to use. Let's talk about protecting, this demographic of people. How do you think, what are the best safe practices that, one can employ? Because in being digital literate, you also need to know how to protect. So what are the best safe practices?
Well, like there's a word that says you can't give what you don't have. So these people are minors, they have parents. Parents really need to understand what cybersecurity and data security is. I need to hack the digital world first so that they can protect their kids. So they know that, there are features that can allow you put parental guidance on things. And aside from that, there are also communication with kids can also help because I started very early and I opened a Facebook account, but I knew that I wouldn't post a picture of me doing something like this or this on Facebook because I knew I was going far. And this was because my parents had a conversation with me and told me the disadvantages of doing this. So if parents can really understand digital world first, then communicate this with their kids, it would really help in saving their kids from too much of outside world, if I can use that word.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying, but let's also look at the point where, despite being told, there's also the levels of looking at teenagers. There's also levels of peer pressure.
Yeah.
There's levels of, oh, my friends are doing it, so what's so special? Why is my mom or my dad so strict? Why are they so hard to understand? Why can't they just let me have this? So let's talk to that demographic directly.
Yeah.
It's one thing to say parents are responsible for hacking, how to safeguard their kids, from the outside world, so to speak. But what are the normal things that you should and should not do? And I know that this is also an advice that will cut across, regardless of your age. What are the things that you should do and shouldn't do with the internet?
Well, a lot of things like cyberbullying and cyber stalking are things that people should avoid and are mistakes that young people make because they don't see it as a problem. They just see it as texting somebody constantly. But if aside from even parents, conferences where the harmful effect of these mistakes are shown would really, really help.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I've watched documentaries on the harmful effect of social media or this, and I've seen, oh, wow, so this thing I was doing is really bad. I mean, if you can have conferences like that, aside from conferences, actually, there are certain settings that parents, I mean, talking about minors now, parents can set on phones that when children go to certain sites, it just blocks them off, and then they can access those sites. So, I mean, it goes back to parents hacking the digital world, actually, because if they understand these things, they can put those certain settings on, and then children can access those sites.
Okay. Now let's look at the responsibility, the shoulders on who the responsibility lies to ensure that children, at least, are digitally literate. You know, if we are telling adults that they can access digital literacy on the internet by going to learn things, free courses are out there, paid courses are out there, things that they can always learn are there. But how do you tell a kid to go on the internet and go and learn digital literacy? So what is the role of stakeholders, government, parents, teachers in this digital literacy movement?
Well, I would like to first say that the government shouldn't make decisions for young people without young people.
Okay.
So they need to understand what young persons need. When you talk about digital literacy, a child could be intrigued by how he can put two things together and he can create a preview of a mobile app. Governments, there are a lot of that. I mean, so I've been touring around cities in Nigeria, and the computer teachers don't even know about website designing. They just teach the children, okay, computer has two things, hardware and software. And these teachers need to be updated, and also structures need to be changed. The education structure of Nigeria, which is supposed to contain this digital literacy, is really, really far behind. So, for example, I use the textbook that my other brother used.
Yeah.
I mean, so we're not evolving, we're remaining in one place. So if we can evolve in right ways, then we can actually create a better world for young persons.
Interesting. So I know that you go around, like you mentioned, on tours, you know, trying to get more education out there. So what have you been up to these days?
Well, I've been traveling.
Okay.
I've been traveling. So my team and I, we've been around 5 cities,
Okay.
across 26 schools, and then we've been able to train about 2,600 kids on how to build websites, entrepreneurship, leadership, and purpose discovery. So that's what I've been basically up to.
So what's your training like? You know, some people will be worried that if you train somebody, for instance, you train me to use this cup, but you don't also warn me of the bad aspects of it, and I don't know, and I stumble into it. What has your training been like? Is it a whole package of, oh, this is what you shouldn't do, this? Because there's this general constant worry that, see, once you don't know the purpose of something, some people would learn coding, but they're using it for nefarious activities, you know. So how do you and your team ensure that that doesn't happen with all the children that you train?
Well, we have something called a balanced diet module.
Okay.
So we don't just train kids. That's why, I mean, I mentioned purpose discovery. So we had a lot of things into that module. We invite people to come and talk on security, for example. We invite people to come and talk on the benefits and the disadvantages as well. And then we also have people who have made these mistakes and get to speak to them. So this is what the tour is about. It's not just to train. It's to create a world of equipped leaders. And for us, equipped leaders means people who have balanced diets. Basically.
Thank you so much, Nifemi Dansey, for joining me on Tea or Coffee this morning.
It was nice to be here.